All right, so I just wanted to start up this lecture real quick, and it's my third attempt at this lecture. I keep getting interrupted and things keep getting erased, so hopefully third time is a charm. I wanted to wrap up the rest of the chapter, making sure that you have heard lecture on all the parts of the chapter before our test on Friday. You have seen this slide before, but you probably didn't notice this little diagram over here on the side. Does this look familiar to you? It should. This is what I was trying to get you to model in our class on Tuesday, and you guys were a bit frustrated, but it was kind of fun to watch you guys try to problem solve out the whole apparatus for breathing or pulmonary ventilation. Pulmonary ventilation. So pulmonary ventilation, again, is a change of volume and pressure change. So when you breathe in, when you inspire, you are going to be increasing the volume of your chest cavity, which decreases the pressure inside of the chest cavity. And that decrease in pressure, there's greater pressure outside, and so air rushes in. When you exhale, exhalation occurs when the diaphragm relaxes, and due to elastic recoil, a passive process, it springs back up into place, decreasing the volume of the chest cavity, which dramatically increases the pressure in the chest cavity, and air rushes from higher pressure to lower pressure outside, and it exits, and you exhale. So that's pulmonary ventilation. We've talked about the muscles, diaphragm, and intercostals are responsible for breathing in. Inspiring, expiring is a passive process. And then forceful expiration, or where you forcefully contract these muscles, the intercostals, the abdominal muscles, and really dramatically decrease the size of your thoracic cavity. This would be like if you were blowing out candles or, trying to forcefully blow in someone's ear to scare them maybe. The route of blood flow here that's mentioned should be familiar. This is the part of pulmonary circulation. And what's missing here is from the lung capillaries, we go back to the pulmonary vein. I can write. And then back to the heart. This process of exchanging gases between the blood and the alveoli occurs by diffusion. And this process here of the oxygen going into the bloodstream from the alveoli and the carbon dioxide going from the alveoli back into the blood, this is referred to as external respiration. So we need to explore this vocabulary term a little bit more closely. So in the lungs, we have an exchange of oxygen going from where there is more oxygen in the air into our capillaries, and carbon dioxide, where there's a diffusion of carbon dioxide from where there's more carbon dioxide in your bloodstream into the alveoli. So let's look at a picture. I always feel like pictures are so much more helpful than me just jabbering on. So when you breathe in, you're breathing in air that has a higher oxygen level in it than what you have in your blood when it's returning back from your body. And so the air that you exhale has less oxygen in it. Well, where did that oxygen go? Oxygen goes into your bloodstream, and carbon dioxide comes out of your bloodstream and goes into your alveoli. This is referred to as external respiration. And why is it called external respiration? Because the alveoli, if you think of it, where is this going to go? This is going to go out of your body, right? So it's external to your body. It's not getting into your tissues yet. It's inside of little sacs that are at the ends of tubes, which are connected ultimately to your nose and mouth. Once that oxygen-enriched blood is picked up, it goes to the left side of the heart and out to the body. When you get to the capillary beds at the tissue level, the oxygen diffuses into your cells, and the carbon dioxide comes out of your cells and goes into the bloodstream. At this level, you have another gas exchange, and so it's another type of respiration, only now it's internal respiration. because now you're inside of the body. You've gained access to the bloodstream and you're going into the spaces around the cells, into the interstitial spaces. The areas between the cells. We're going to talk a little bit about the exchange for carbon dioxide and oxygen through the hemoglobin molecules, okay? The hemoglobin molecules. So what these diagrams over here are showing you is that the carbon dioxide dissolves in your bloodstream and forms carbonic acid. And it also is going to bond the carbon dioxide and the hemoglobin. I'll just write HB, forms something called carb aminohemoglobin. And the oxygen plus the hemoglobin forms oxyhemoglobin. This diagram is really, really important. And there's a paragraph underneath that diagram. This is figure 14-12. Okay, in your textbook. So take a look at it. Please, this is based upon the textbook that I have here at school. The number might vary a little bit for your textbook at home, but the diagram probably looks about exactly the same. So some of the carbon dioxide is dissolved in the plasma of your blood, forming, sorry, I've dropped my phone, it's forming carbonic acid, and then it dissociates and forms bicarbonate ions. And then some of it is bonded to the carbon dioxide. So here we have the process of internal respiration. Please watch the video. That's the link right there. But this shows you that the oxyhemoglobin is what we have oxygen and what we call oxygen and hemoglobin when they're bonded together. And carb aminohemoglobin is the association between the carbon dioxide and the hemoglobin. Okay. Volumes of air exchange during pulmonary ventilation. One of the labs that I think we'll probably do after we get back from break, when we have a little bit more time, is looking at respiration rates and using some probeware to identify respiration rates. So, normal breathing, think of the tides that come in and out at the beach. Normal breathing is called tidal volume. This is just your normal breathing in and out. And that's only about 500 milliliters of air. It's not a whole lot. It's just your normal breathing when you're not thinking about it. The minute you start thinking about breathing, you're not going to be breathing normally. So let's say that you're just breathing normally. Well, when you exhale every time during normal breath, you still have air left in your lungs. And the air that you have left in your lungs that you would have to forcefully expire, where you would have to contract your abdominal muscles and those intercostal muscles to push out, that is your expiratory reserve volume. A reserve is what you have left over. So imagine you have, it's kind of like when you have a container of something and you pour it out and then you still have a little bit left over in the bottom. That's your expiratory reserve volume, just what's left over. When you take a deep breath in, or when you take a normal breath in, could you always breathe in even more deeply and take your deepest breath in? Well, whatever is the difference between what you're normally breathing through tidal volume and what you take your very deepest breath, that's your inspiratory reserve volume, the extra air. So your overall amount of lung volume is called your vital capacity. And it makes sense. It's your normal amount that you can breathe, adding to it any extra air that you could normally breathe, plus anything that would be left over in your lungs even after you forcefully expire. It's the largest amount of expiratory air possible. Okay? Residual volume is the air that's left in your lungs all the time. Even after the most forceful expiration, there's still air left in your lungs. Okay, you'd have to literally roll them up like little tubes of toothpaste to get all of that air out. We never get rid of that residual volume. So you saw there's this diagram in your textbook, and this is a pretty cool little diagram. Let me see if I can fix this picture here for you. I know I'm messing around with this while you guys are looking at it on screen, but I want you to be able to see all of the little words there on the bottom. So I'm messing with it while you're watching it. Okay, now I gotta wait for that little bar at the bottom to go away. All right, so our tidal volume, look at this. Our tidal volume is just this little white sliver here, this little crescent. So really our residual volume is if you exhaled as forcefully as you could, that's the light green, you would still have air left in your lungs. That's your residual volume. So the difference between your most forceful exhale and your deepest amount of air that you can inhale is your tidal volume. So you add those three things together and you get your vital capacity. Your total lung volume is really the addition of all four of those things together, right? So tidal volume, you're breathing normally. I'm not heavy breathing for you, sorry. So then this is where you're going to go and you're going to take your very deepest breath, right? So let's say you're exercising. Now I am heavy breathing for you. You're going to get to do this when we come back from break. I'll make you guys all heavy breathe together. So I just want to make sure you guys are familiar with those terms because you will see them on your test on Friday. What are the mechanisms? What are the parts of our brain that regulate our breathing? Okay, the medulla. Do you remember where your medulla is? It's your brain stem. So your breathing rate is monitored and controlled by your brain stem, but you also have that pons area, that bridge, that can modify whether you need to breathe more or if you need to slow down your breathing. In addition, you have your cerebral cortex. Those are your higher brain centers, right? That's your upper brain, your mammalian brain. And this is where we can decide, hey, I need to yell really loud, so I need to take a deep breath. Or I'm singing, or I need to hold my breath because I'm swimming. Or I want to blow really hard because I'm going to blow up a balloon or blow out some birthday candles. That's where we regulate those things by our cerebral cortex. But your brain has a safety mechanism. If you're holding your breath and you are your chemoreceptors and your carotid and aortic arteries don't have the right pH level, as more carbon dioxide builds up in our bloodstream, remember the carbon dioxide bonds with the water in our plasma and makes carbonic acid. If the acidity of our blood, if the pH value of our blood starts to drop, it will be, the chemoreceptors will sense that, and you turn off. You turn off conscious control of breathing. Your pons and your medulla overrides your cerebral cortex, and your body's going to start breathing all on its own. And this is a problem if you're still underwater, right? This is why drowning would occur, because you take a deep breath in, but there's no air there. It's water that you inhale. Okay? You also have stretch receptors in your pulmonary airways and in the alveoli so that you know when they are being stretched during, sorry, I'm yawning again. It's during normal ventilation. It's almost 5 o'clock and I got to go to night school, so trying to get this wrapped up. So this is showing those higher brain centers that regulate heart rate and respiration. Types of breathing. So eupnea is normal breathing. Hyperventilation is when you would be really scared or having a panic attack. Okay. Hypoventilation. Maybe you've taken medication that is a depressant for your nervous system, and so you're breathing very slowly, very shallowly. This is not a good thing. Okay. Dyspnea is going to be labored or difficult breathing, like if you're having an asthma attack. Okay. Apnea, think of sleep apnea, where you stop breathing while you're sleeping. Very bad for your heart. And then respiratory arrest, you're not breathing. Okay. You don't start breathing after a period of apnea. Okay. Great little video there on asthma. Hopefully all the links still work. And I just wanted to make sure that I got this done for you guys. We will review in class tomorrow. I see that some of you are doing the quizzes. We will do our Quizlet live to review vocabulary one more time. And I will see you in the morning. Okay, bye-bye. I'll make sure you like and subscribe to my channel too. Thanks, bye.